package of documents, because that's when you're looking to be approved, guys. That's the place where all the documentation should be right. You want to do it first time and you want to do it right. Make sure it's you signing, because if you make these mistakes, they're the ones that are going to affect your time frame, and you'll end up doing things over and over and over again. Get the terms right, get the documentation right. You want to do it right the first time, guys, and that's what I'm insisting on here. So that is my story. That's how I did my process. It was easy. I did it by myself. I did not pay no lawyer. Beautiful people, how are you doing? Thank you for tuning to my channel today. I really appreciate that, and God bless you. And on my today topic, I'm just going to talk about marriage-based visa. It's in relation or in response to my previous videos that I did kind of 2 weeks ago. If you've not watched those 2 videos, kindly go watch it, and it will give you a flow of why I'm doing today's video. Also, I'm responding to a few of you who have been asking if I can give my side of the story of how the whole process or my journey was when I was doing my application. They just want to know how the whole process is and how it's done and what papers I had to fill, how much it costed and all that. So I'm going to take you throughout today through the whole process of a marriage-based visa. I'm going to just try to give you a little bit of a structure of how I did it. Stories, again, as I've said, stories, they vary from one person to another. But this is my side of the story, guys. So this is the kind of visa that will enable your spouse to permanently reside here and be able to work, okay? Legally, you can't work in the United States until you're authorized or you're given the legality to do so. So the marriage-based visa kind of opened that bracket for your spouse if you want to do it through marriage. And starting the process is the easy way to kind of quicken the process. So don't need to wait. You can just go ahead and start the process. And I assure you the process is so easy. Many people have done it. Millions and millions of people have done it. I've done it. It's an easy process. They have made it so easy if you do it the right way. Okay, I'm going to kind of try to take you step by step of how I did it. Mine is the one that I'm already inside the United States. The application process is based on me being already in the United States, because I was already here and I came through a B1, B2 visa, but I had to adjust it. I had to adjust my status. It's called adjustment of status. Let me clear this, guys. If already, remember I told you that when I came here to visit my husband, I had no plans to stay. I had no plans to fully stay here. I was to go back home. If we knew that's where we were heading, then I really feel like we'll have done something called K1 visa, which by that time I didn't know nothing about it. These are things I learned later because my intention was different. My intention was to come and visit him and go back home. Okay? So that's why I was not doing all the other things. I could have gone and read everything and do it rightly if I haven't had a chance then, because until today I'm in a situation where I had to leave my son back home, and it was a very painful process. I'll not wish that you do that. If your intention is to get married, then there's a K1 visa. They call it K1 visa. Go ahead and use that. Maybe if he's your fiancé right now. But if you're already married, you're legally married and you have a marriage certificate, then this is what I'm doing now. You can be inside in the United States or outside the United States. It doesn't matter, because the process is always the same process, only that at the end of it, if you're outside the United States, then your case is handled by the US Embassy in your country, okay? No, it can be in Europe, it can be South America, it can be in Canada, it can be Australia, it can be Africa, it can be in the Arabic, the Asian continent. So this applies to across board, as long as it's not. And just kind of to encourage anybody who is starting this process, I want to tell you that many people, thousands and thousands of couples have done this process, me included, and it has gone right. They have made it so easy. Every information you need, it's in their website, and that's where most of us were able to read and just do it right. Other people prefer using lawyers if you don't really believe that you're able to do it, or maybe believe you'll be able to do it right, and you don't really know what to do. They prefer just sitting back and paying lawyers to do the job. It's an easy way, it's a shortcut to kind of get you off the headache of doing it right, thinking, have I done it right or wrong? So, but I did it by myself. I did not pay no lawyer because I was trying to save that money. And apart from that, I knew I believed in myself. I knew I was able to do it because it's doable. You can do it because all this information is there. Information is key. Once you have the information, then you do it. Even these lawyers, they get the information, then they do it for you. So once you are informed, then you're able to just do the whole process. If you prefer using a lawyer, well and good. But if you're not using a lawyer, get much information as you can. The time frame depends on how you do it. You want to do it right the first time, because if you miss any documentation, or you just don't give enough information that they need, depending on your situation and your case, then they will have to ask you for more documentation, and this kind of prolongs the process. So you want to do it right the first time. Do it right the first time, and the typical time frame given will just flow in line with you, and your whole case will just go in the right way. So the time frame is in relation to if you're filing from within the United States or outside the United States. Because I think outside the United States it takes longer, because once your case has been approved, from there the interview and everything else is being done from the embassy, the consulate, they call it consulate, the embassy in your country, the United States embassy in your country. They handle your case from that side. But if you're within the United States, then we just go to our local offices, your local USCIS offices near you, near you, and you just do the interview and you go from there. If you have to adjust a status, you adjust a status and all that. So that's how I did it. And because I'm already inside the United States, so my time frame was different depending on the person outside the United States. That's why I say situations are different. Again, it's in relation to, it depends on if your spouse is a US citizen or a permanent resident status card holder. Because the US citizen spouse or sponsor, the process is shorter. He is a US citizen, or she is a US citizen, so they kind of given a priority to being a citizen. Their process is shorter. So those are the two things that affect the duration, because people are like, the whole process is so long. Why is it so long? Yeah, it varies from 9 months to around 36 months. And now with COVID, it even made it worse. COVID has made everything, everything just turned upside down. So we can't even really now typically give the real time frame, because there was a lot of backlogs, which they're trying to catch up. But everything, as it runs back to normal, it should be, according to their website, from anywhere between 9 to 36 months. And that depends on your situation. If your petitioner or your sponsor is a US citizen or a permanent resident status card holder, and if you're filing from within the United States or from outside the United States. Okay, so the cost, it doesn't matter. Also, the cost varies too. People filing from within the United States and you had a different visa, it means you're adjusting the status of your visa. So the cost is much higher depending in relation to the one who is already outside there. So they pay much less. I think ours is around $1,760 US, and them is around $1,200 US. So because it's adjustment of status from the visa that you came with, and you're changing it to a marriage visa because you're already here in the US. But them, they're given directly a marriage visa. There's no changing of any status. So that's why the cost will be also different on that. We pay higher, because the ones who are already here, I paid higher in relation to, if I was back home, I could have paid less. Yeah, those are the factors there. So requirements and documentation also, they vary depending on your situations again. They vary because it can be somebody who has already been divorced, or you're coming out from a divorce, or maybe you've lost your spouse, or there are very many different ways that your documentation will affect what you're putting into the table to put as a package on that application. Kind of list them down to help you out. And there are three major steps now. There are three major processes that you take, and I'm gonna kind of run them with you. Number one, you have to establish the relationship of your marriage. That is step number one. Okay, we are starting there. Step number one, you have to establish the relationship of the marriage. How you do this, how you establish how you prove that your marriage is legit, is by filing a form called I-130. It's form I-130. This is a form that kind of establishes the relationship that you have. Is it legit? And the documentation that you attach, that documents are the ones that will prove if this marriage is just done for the sake of having a card, or just are you doing it for the sake of just gaining a status to be in America, or it's legit. Is your marriage legit? Is it current? Is your marriage current? You know, is your marriage there? So is it existing? So they have to prove that first. They have to prove the relationship in your marriage if it's there. And the form that does that is called form I-130. So in that form, there are documents you must attach to. You fill the whole form, of course, you fill everything there, and it's in their website, so it's a form that you'll just download from their website or just fill from their website. So once you've established that relationship, step number two, and you've been approved, step number two, you'll have to apply for the green card visa, and applying for that, you fill a form called form I-485. Form I-485, it's for somebody like me who is already in the United States. That is a form that adjusts my status because I'm applying for the green card visa. So I'm adjusting my status from B1, B2 visa, or whatever visa you came with. If it's a F1 visa, if you're a student, or if you came through a work permit, a work kind of job, J1 something visa, and you're changing your status to, adjusting your status to marriage-based visa, then this is the kind of form that you'll fill. It's called form I-485. Form I-485, if you're already in the United States. If you're outside the United States and your case is being handled by NVC will send you something, then you'll have to go on their on their site, or I think so, because you have to go on their site and fill a form called DS-260. It's a form called DS-260. Once your case has been approved, you'll fill that form called DS-260, and sorry guys, and then from there, your case will be sent to the US Embassy in your country, where they will start processing your paperwork. They'll call you for the interview. You go for the interview over there, and then once the guys see you're right, they'll approve your case, and you'll await approval, and then you're good to go. Okay? So basically, those are the three steps. So I'm going to go into the documentation that you attach to your form I-130. And documentation, they vary from situation to situation or from couple to couple, but typically or generally, these are the documentation that I know must be there. Number one, birth certificate of the beneficiary. My birth certificate, it had to be there. You don't send original, you send copies. Then if they need originals, they'll ask for them. So birth certificate is number one. Number two is the marriage certificate. I mean, you have to prove that the marriage exists and it's current. You're married, you're filing a marriage-based visa. So that is huge. You have to prove that your marriage is there, it's existing, it's not been terminated, and it's existing. It has to have both your names, you and your spouse. It has to have the date where you did your marriage and the place, okay? So that is a huge document there. Birth certificate is huge because you have to show where you're born and all that, country you're coming from, like my Kenyan marriage birth certificate. And then document number three is the financial document. Most of the time here in the US, they file their tax annually. So the tax return document is what most sponsors give, and that's what they require from you. I don't think there's any other document you can give out to prove your financial to give us a financial document. So the tax return document is what I know is being asked in this place. So the financial document, quote unquote, the tax return, the most current one, the year you filed last year. If you're filing this year, for the previous year, that's what you give out as a financial document. And then I think you have to prove your spouse. Now, you remember me, I gave my birth certificate. So the petitioner or the sponsor has to prove that he is legally a US citizen or a permanent resident card holder. So by proving that, they have to give a document that proves their citizenship or the card holder status. The green card status. something like that. So you must prove that by giving a document. So if you're a US citizen, you can either give your birth certificate, or if you have your what, your passport. Those are two documents that can prove you're a US citizen. And if you're a card holder, a green card holder, of course you'll give a copy of your green card. So those are the two ways you prove that. I'm on document number 4. Number 5, you have to prove how you entered the US. How did I come in? Did I enter it legally? So there's a form called I-94. You can go online and print it out. So point of entry, how did you come to the US? So you show it. They want to see if you came legally, and if you came in another way, of course you have to give a document to show all that, because there must be a document on that. So there's a form I-194 that I had to attach to show my point of entry, which was Chicago, and my dates, the dates when I came, my point of entry and all that. So it's called form I-194. So that's another document that you give. And if you were married before, I wasn't married before, so I did not need to give this document. Proof of termination of your previous marriage. Like there is a divorce document. So I did not need to give that because I wasn't married before. So you must prove that there's termination of your prior marriages for both of you, if both of you are married, or if one of you was married. So yep. And if the status, the card, that's another document that is needed. If, for example, I came with a B1, B2 visa, and I must, if it's expired, or the document that I use, the most current of the expired visa that I have, because I'm adjusting status and I'm here in the US. Or even if you're back home and you have any document, maybe you used to come and go and anything, any document that you have as a visa from the US. Then there's medical examination. This thing is huge, guys. So this is something else also you pay. Medical examination is a must. And once you do it, it takes a whole year before you do it again. So you don't open it, guys. Once how the doctor gave it to you is how you submit it with your form I-130. So that is something else. And once you've done it, it's valid for 1 year. And if your case takes longer than 1 year, unfortunately, you'll have to repeat it again. Thank God mine was less than that. Mine took, I think, COVID affected it, because I remember in April I was to go for my interview after approval. Oh, but then I was approved in March. Then I was called for the interview in April, then COVID just shut down. The world was shut down. So I think I had to be sent for a letter to tell me not to go for the interview. And we waited for months and months and months and months. But thank God I was already working, so I was okay. So I just had to wait. And that one kind of affected my time frame, because it was beyond them. It was beyond them. It was a situation that affected everything all over the world. Everybody knows. So it was around, I think, was it September or August? I can't remember. Towards the end of the year, 2020 is when, I think August, is when now I received a letter again, and they told us now we can go. And we went for the interview. Me and my husband went to the interview in Des Moines County, in Des Moines. And the interview process was nice, though they didn't approve us there and then. Hey guys, how did I forget that? In form I-130, you must prove that you're valid, that your intentions are right, that your union is genuine. So there are things you must add there when you're giving out, like joint bank statement, joint leases that you've signed together, or if there's a house you bought together. Anything that you've done together as a couple, just put it together. If you're paying utility bills with both of your names, put it there. Photos, give them. Me, I know they say put 5, 10 photos. I went with a whole bunch of photos like this. Instead of them asking for bring more, just give them as much as they can. Then they'll take their time to just see if they want to. Instead of you giving 2, then they'll be like, send more photos. We want to see if you guys are living together or something, you know. So don't give them an excuse to ask for any document. Anything in your mind that you think can prove, like insurance, if you have a car you bought together and you're paying insurance with both your names on it, if you bought a house with both on your name on it, if you have any photos you've done family gatherings and you've been together out with friends, anywhere you've taken photos together, put it there. It will help you out on them, just to show that this union is legit, it's current, it's existing, its intentions are right, it's done out of a good intentions. It's not something just done out for the sake of what people call makaratasi. People from my country, you know what that I mean. That you just didn't do it for makaratasi, you know. So it's just for the sake of getting papers. That's what, if I can translate it. Like, you just didn't do it because you want to get papers to live in the United States. You just did it because it's genuine. You people are in love and your intentions are right, okay? So prove that by giving as much documentation as you can. Anything that you've done together jointly, add it to that form I-130. Put it there on top of your birth certificate, marriage certificate, financial document, medical examination document, termination of your previous marriage, proof of the sponsor US citizenship, this proof of your petitioner citizenship, anything that you want to do. Add the extras, add the utility bills with both of your names, add your photos together and all that I've mentioned, to kind of just make your case stronger. Do it right the first time, it will be smooth all the way. I did that and it was very smooth all the way. So you want to enjoy the process. You don't want to be filing and filing and filing forever, okay? Especially if you're not already with your husband, it's even worse, or with your spouse, because it will take longer for you guys to be separated before you join together, okay? Especially if you're living 2 worlds apart and you're doing the first mistake, it will take forever. So do it the first time and do it so right that it's better you take longer to put all the documentation. Instead of doing everything in a hurry, you want to send it, then they start asking. And you know, anytime they ask you for a document, it kind of goes back because it will have to wait for its time again. So if it takes 3 months to approve something, you've taken it back another 3 months again for it to go through the line or through whatever. So please, don't be in a rush. If you don't trust yourself, let a lawyer do it for you, okay? But you can do it yourself and save that money. Save that money, guys. It's an easy process. You can do it yourself. I tell you that. Read it for yourself and do it. I tell you that it's doable. It's doable, guys. I did it by myself with the help of my husband. We did it. Yep. So yeah, that's what I can say. And I've said in form I-130, there's a fees there. And by the way, all this information, as I've said, is in their website. How much you pay, where you're gonna send your documents, the address is given there. For form I-130, that time I remember I paid $535 for form I-130. Adjustment of status has its own charges too. When you go for your biometric again, there's a charges. I paid $84 there for biometric. So from I-130, I paid $532. That's what I attach as a check and put it in there. By the way, put a check with it. It's part of the things you add there. It's part of the requirements. Put a check in your documents. Don't say you'll pay it later. If you want to do a check or a whatever, I think check is easier, or a money order. They give you all those options of the things you can do when you're sending it. Just I prefer you just attaching your payment there once before you send it, okay? So yeah, that's another thing I'd forgotten. Whatever there's a fee paid. I think I even attached my biometric. I attached all my fees together. I did not leave anything out. I did not want to be asked for anything. My biometric fees was where they do your fingerprint, they take your photo, and everything was $84. I remember. I think it was $84. And then yep, when you're doing, or when you're filling the form I-130, that's where you're putting a whole package of documents, because that's when you're looking to be approved, guys. That's the place where all the documentation should be right. You want to do it first time and you want to do it right, okay? You don't want to miss anything, and anything that you need to put in, guys, even if you're thinking of it, just put it in. Don't think twice and say, I think this one will not be needed. Whatever you think, put as much as you can. Put as much as you can. Situations are different. It can be maybe you're previously married. I wasn't married before. My situation is different. I was a single girl, a single mother, okay? So I was never married. I had no previous marriage to where I have to prove that this termination of my previous marriage, do I have to show a divorce document or anything like that. The person filing for an alien relative is called the sponsor or the petitioner, okay? And the person who is looking to gain the status, the green card, the person who's going to get the green card or who's going to gain the status of permanent residence, is called the beneficiary. So anytime you go through and you read, you see the beneficiary. The beneficiary is you, somebody like me. I was the beneficiary. My husband was the petitioner or the sponsor, okay? So I just wanted to bring that clear, because those are the terms they use all over. All over, they will say your petitioner, your sponsor, you the beneficiary. So beneficiary is the person who's going to gain this green card status, and the sponsor is the person who is filing for an alien relative and that is your husband or your wife, depending on whoever is the US citizen or the green card holder already filing for you. Okay, hope that is clear. As I said before, you'll hear those terms over and over again throughout the whole process. Don't get mixed up because you want to do it right. Know whatever terms means what. When they say sponsor is the one signing somewhere, make sure it's your sponsor signing, not you. When they say the beneficiary is the one signing, make sure it's you signing. Because if you make these mistakes, they're the ones that are going to affect your time frame. And you'll end up doing things over and over and over again. Get the terms right. Get the documentation right. You want to do it right the first time, guys. And that's what I'm insisting on here. If you don't believe it on yourself, let the lawyer do it for you. But it's doable. You can do it. I did it by myself. And all the information you need is in their website. Okay, I'll put a link of their website up here, or then how you can just go in and check it out. So once my case was approved, I was called for the interview, went for the interview. The guy, it was during COVID time, so guys were kind of sensitive. They were not even touching documents. There was a glass in between us and the guy interviewing us, guys. So all those documents, I think they were using something, because COVID was still very strange to everybody. Okay, and everybody was being careful. We had masks on. And the guy asked us some nice, good questions, and we answered, and we thought we had finished until he gave us a letter saying, hey, you can send us more photos. By the way, we had sent nice photos. We had carried a whole document, and they said, maybe you can add us more photos and something else. Yeah, it was just more photos. So I had to send more photos. And by the way, that time I was very pregnant. It was August. No, August, September. It was November, October then. Because my son was born in November. So by the time I was sending everything back, I had popped up a baby. Yeah, it was in September, October. A few weeks and I went to deliver. I gave birth. God bless us with the baby. In fact, we added that as part of the documentation to prove it. So it kind of strengthened our case too. We put a birth certificate of our son, and we put photos of his birth at the hospital. We added that. So it was a good chance to even strengthen our case. So now we had a son together. There was a birth certificate there and all that. So made it nicer by that guy telling us to do it. So it made it much nicer. So yep. Once you've done it, there's a way you can check your status online. So I checked. I was sure I got it, because within a week it changed to approved, and then another week I received now a physical mail through our address, and that was it. Within a short time, I think December 3rd, like 3 weeks, December 3rd, I got my green card. Yep, December 3rd of 2020. So it took like 9 months of that because of COVID. I think if it wasn't COVID by 6th or the 4th, 5th month, because my interview was meant to be on in April, then it was cancelled. I had to wait a whole another 6 months to go again because of COVID. So it could have even been shorter. And currently, I don't know for the guys doing it now how it is, because COVID brought a lot of backlog. So I don't know the time frame. Things change. They keep on changing laws too. So the costs that I've quoted today, they might change. So it's in relation to how they set their laws, because every time things change, the immigration department, the Homeland Security guys are always changing their status depending on how they feel it should be right. So what I've said today, if you'll be watching this video 2 years later, this is 2023, maybe you'll get this video online 2 years later, please be most current with what is needed at that particular time. If Jesus will not have come back, if will not, you know, I'm Christian, so I must say that. No apologies. No apologies. If Jesus will not have come back here and you'll be watching this video, then please make sure you have the most current information. The charges I've quoted today is according to what I paid in 2020, and I've checked again, they're still kind of the same. So yeah, and that's how I attained my green card. I had to adjust status and all that. So basically, that's how I got my green card. So if you're in marriage, if your marriage is under 2 years, that's something else I need to note. If your marriage is under 2 years, by the time you're filing and you're 2 years in marriage, they will give you a conditional, it's called a conditional green card, a conditional green card. You'll be a conditional green card holder. Then after 2 years, you remove the condition, because I've already done that. After those 2 years and you're still married and you're still in it, now you file for the one that you apply to remove the condition, application to remove condition of status in your green card. Now there you're given a 10-year one. Then after 3 years, like now me right now, I'm over 3 years in marriage. I'm going to my 4th one. Right now I can file for It's just that I'm not, I can file depending on when I'm ready to do it, to be a US citizen. For marriage, guys, it's easy. For if you're married, the third year you can now file legally to be a US citizen if you're still married to your spouse. Yep. But right now, I'm still a permanent resident card holder, and I'm legally eligible to file or to apply for citizenship right now because I'm beyond 3 years of marriage. Yep. So that's how my story was, guys, and I thank you for everything. And yep, I don't think there's anything I left out. So that is my story. That's how I did my process. It was easy. I did it by myself. I did not pay no lawyer. It was an easy process. I read everything on their site. All the information you need is in their website, USCIS. All the information you need of whatever type of visa you're doing, not just the marriage one, any type of visa you're trying to apply. Guys, the information is so detailed you can't miss out. Information is key in anything you do in this life. Even these lawyers we pay, if you're a lawyer watching me, you can attest to this. You read it, even you read it online. So you read it on their website. So all this information is given us to everybody. So you can get all this information if you want to give it, read it. It's not just like custom to a certain kind of people who can access it. Everybody can access this information. You can file everything for yourself, whatever type of visa, whether it's an immigration visa or a non-immigration visa. You can do anything by yourself or for yourself. But if you feel that you want to pay anybody and just sit back and relax, that's still good. We have lawyers who are very good at doing that, and they can do it right for you while you're at the comfort of waiting. So lawyers have done it for many people. They can still do it for you, okay? So that was my story, and God is still good in my life. So again, I want to say thank you for always watching my videos. God bless you. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly hit that button, hit the bell to get all the updates or all the alerts on my uploads of my video. Don't miss out. Subscribe to this channel. Let's grow together, guys. I want to thank you for always tuning into my channel. I want to say God bless you always for tuning into my channel. Yeah.